What's good YouTube? In today's video I'm going to show you how you can climb SR in Overwatch on console. I will give you multiple tips and tricks and my advice on how to get out of gold or whatever rank you're at. I do always want to clarify at the start of the video that I am not an amazing player, but I can share my history and advice with you guys to help you guys in the future on your Overwatch playing time. If you do go on to watch the video and find it helpful, make sure to drop a like as that is muchly appreciated, and subscribe to the channel if you want more Overwatch content in the near future. I'm going to tell you the rank that I'm capable of playing at, and from season 1 to season whatever we are in now, so you get a gist of what skill level I am at. So currently, as of speaking, I am at 3.4k on tank, 3.4k on support, and I think I've dropped down to 3.1k on DPS. As you can tell, I'm probably above the average Overwatch player on console, but I'm not quote unquote good. The highest that I have peaked was back way in a day, and I peaked around 3.8k playing as a soldier main. But as of the past year, I've probably averaged around 3.3 to around 3.6k on all roles. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first tip that I would recommend when trying to climb SR on Overwatch. Tip number 1. Know your settings. Now obviously what I mean by this is play on settings that you feel comfortable with. Do not go out of your way to copy someone's exact settings. I'm not saying that you can't look up the best settings and take advice from what other people have said, but do not copy every setting. You know, people that make setting videos like me, those settings have worked for me and I have been using those for years now. So you copying those exact settings of mine will not help. However, I just share what I think are the best settings to help others if they are completely clueless. So basically, make sure you are smart with your settings, don't change them too much and too often, and just make sure you feel comfortable on what you're playing and not to copy someone else because they said to do so. I will probably update my best settings for Overwatch when the new season is about to land, which is in like 2 weeks time, so make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're interested in what I think are the best settings. Tip number 2 is to use voice chat to communicate. Going into game chat and communicating with your team can be crucial to whether you win or lose games. This is a very underrated tip when it comes to Overwatch and climbing. If you do not go into game chat, it doesn't mean that you will never climb, but it is so much easier if you go into game chat and communicate with your team. Yes, I understand that you may not want to go into game chat and talk with people or strangers that you've never spoke with before, but at least go into game chat and hear what your team have to say or hear the call outs, because it is really crucial in Overwatch. Just making simple call outs like Tracer top, Ryan left, team pushing in. Simple call outs like that could mean so much to your team and could benefit you and your team in so many different ways. So if you want the best chances in climbing, I would suggest going into game chat to communicate with the team, or at least listen to what they have to say. Tip number 3, we have stay positive and do not be toxic. If your team aren't winning or things aren't going to plan, then do not start being aggressive and toxic towards your teammates. This will then cause your team to collapse and fall apart as you have 2 people or more arguing over something stupid. If you think one of your teammates aren't doing what they're supposed to be, then simply call out and let them know in a nice and politely way. And if someone is being very toxic to you, ignore them, mute them, report them, do whatever you have to do, but do not retaliate and be toxic in game towards people. And to add on to the stay positive part, if you're in a game and you've been rolled and it's not looking good, stay positive and just play to the best of your ability and don't let what is happening in the game affect you. I've played so many games where our team has been rolled, but we haven't let it mentally get to us and we've managed to outcome the situation and go on to draw or even sometimes win the game. Coming in at number 4 is do your role. And what I mean by that is whatever role you are playing, make sure you're established in doing the role to the best of your ability to affect the team. If you are playing a main tank such as Reinhardt, your job is to lead or be the leader and dictate where your team take place in the fight. There's no point playing Reinhardt or a main tank if you haven't got what it takes to lead the team and dictate the play. If you're playing as a Wrecking Ball, your job will be to affect or disturb the enemy's backline, such as their healers, such as an Ana or a Mercy, or just distract the enemy team. For example, if you're D.Va, make sure you are flying up to the hit scan. Just make sure you are picking a character that you know how to use and know what they're supposed to do. These are very basic tips, but if you are playing support, don't just focus on your tanks and yourself. You have 2 other DPS players that could do with the support and heals. If you are playing DPS, a lot of people get mistaken. Your job is not to just go in and get every single kill. It all depends on what character you are. For example, if you're a Genji or a Doomfist, you want to distract the back lines and go in for the flanks and kill the squishies. If you're playing someone like Junk or Reaper, you want to target the shield and the tanks as they deal out the most damage and are most effective against tanks. If you are playing hit scan, you need to find angles where you can shoot enemies and just disturb them. So, moral of the tip, make sure you pick a character you know how to play and do what you're supposed to help your team win. Also, make sure you are using your ultimate ability to the best of the ability you can, and make sure you basically know what you are doing with your ultimates on the character you are playing. So those are the main 4 tips and tricks in my opinion for Overwatch. If you did enjoy the video or find any of these tips helpful, then make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Our goal on this channel is to reach 500 subscribers, so if you subscribed, that is much appreciated, like I said. If you do have any questions, then make sure to leave them down in the comments below, as I like to answer all questions. Peace.